Hey homemakers. So I've been a little distant from social media and Facebook for a while. We're just trying to get our lives kind of together and just taking a break from things for a little bit. So today I'm back. We are going to do a prep ahead Monday. What I'm doing today is prepping a few things for our week just so I don't have to do so much later. I haven't been going to the grocery store as often because I'm trying to stay home as much as possible. So what I'm doing today is I'm going to attempt to debone an entire turkey. Never done it before. Watched a lot of videos. Kind of disgusted because I don't like touching meat like that. But we're going to give it a go. What I intend to do is, I haven't been getting ground beef lately. I've been having a hankering for ground meat. So what I'm going to do is with the meat, I am going to grind it up and have my own ground turkey, which I particularly love and our family doesn't really care either way for. So I do have a grinder on my, what's that thing called? Oh, mixer. I do have a grinder on my mixer, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. But first I have to get the meat off the bones. Pretty excited. So follow along and we'll see where today takes us. All right, time to debone this turkey. So right now I'm just kind of assessing what's there. I'm getting rid of some of the skin and some of the loose pieces, just getting it out of the way so I can see what I'm doing. This was super intimidating for me because I've never done this before. Let's just say a lot of YouTube videos were watched in preparation for this. I will say this was a lot easier than I thought. I mean, as long as you know basic anatomy, you know where it connects, you know where you should cut. I will suggest a very sharp knife or pre-sharpening a knife before you start this makes a world of difference. If my knife had been any duller, this would not have been successful, or it would have been way worse. I did have to do a lot of repositioning and adjusting in my poor little cutting board. I have a towel underneath, but it does shift quite a bit, so it does make it really difficult to get a handle without it kind of shifting a little bit. So all I'm doing right now is I'm just getting rid of the leg and thigh. At this particular moment, I'm finding the joints, getting it cut so that way I can kind of get it out of the way. I will separate out those two later. In my case, I'm not going to do anything with the wings. I thought I might, but you know, honestly, there's not much meat on there, and I rather put that into the stock because that just makes some tasty meat or tasty flavoring for my particular stock. I did save the chicken skins for my husband because that is one of his favorite parts. He thinks that all places should save chicken skins so that way he could fry it up and put it on things. I don't know about you guys, but that is just one of his favorite things to get, which we don't get very often because you can't get that around here unless you do this particular method. So here I'm just taking off the second thigh leg combo. Now, honestly, I could have just left it like this and broke it down and then cooked it this way, which does make for faster cooking for your turkeys. But as I said before, I wanted to make this ground meat. So here I'm just getting the wings off. Some of my liquid's going, so I gotta make sure that didn't get any further than it was. And I did have to significantly, let my bird thaw out. So that did take a little bit of time. I'm kind of glad I didn't do this any sooner because my hands were freezing during this process. I should have let my bird drain just a little bit more than I did, and I probably wouldn't have had such a liquid issue, but it's okay. And you can kind of see a picture of my kitty cat. She wanted some turkey. She could smell the meat. She wasn't very happy that I wasn't sharing. They'll get some broth when this is all done. So right here, I am just assessing the little wishbone area. You can kind of see me cutting and separating out that particular area. This is on the breastbone. I didn't realize it was so hard to cut around the wishbone, but it just takes a little finesse. It's okay. Once you get that, it's fine. I feel like I did kind of a hack job on this particular area. I didn't feel like I did as great, but little time and patience, it'll be okay. So you just cut down the middle, and that way you can separate and see what you're doing, and it gets you a better idea and visual. And then all you do is just basically cut along the rib cage there and then continue down. It's pretty simple from there. So right here, all I'm doing is taking care of that excess skin, which will be saved for later. I just kind of put it off to the side in this bowl just to get it out of the way until I'm ready to deal with it. And then all I need to do is just get the second piece of breast meat off, and then I can decide how I'm splitting everything up here. Now, if you're not ready to make this into a stock because of time limits or things like that, what you can do is put your bones into a Ziploc into your freezer. Save any scraps you have from any veggies, skins, or if you have veggies that are gone a little soft or anything like that, throw them in a freezer bag, and then when you're ready to make stock, all you do is throw all those leftovers plus your carcass and bones, and you just go ahead and throw that all in a crock pot or a big pot with some water. All you have to do. It's a lot easier than you think. So here I am just going through with my thigh and legs. Honestly, the legs, there's so many little bones and things in through there, so it wasn't really worth me trying to debone that particular bit. Plus, these are pretty hardy, so they'll make a meal in themselves. Those go really far. All I have to do is throw those in a crock pot, cook them up for a little bit, take all the meat off, and throw it into whatever meal I'm going to do. Or honestly, I could go ahead and put it on the grill if we wanted. That would be pretty good too. All right, here I am grinding up my meat. This is a handy attachment that I have for my KitchenAid mixer. Fun fact, this mixer was actually my grandmother's, so I'm really excited that I have it. Here's my finished ground turkey. So that yielded me, I don't know if you can see this, sort of not. Yielded about 4 pounds. Give or take, just under 4.5 pounds of ground beef. turkey. And now what I'm going to do is take the rest of my bones. I'm going to make some stock, and I'm going to utilize the whole part of this turkey, and then I'll give you a cost breakdown of how much everything costs. Here we go. So here I am doing my stock. This is the largest crock pot I have. I honestly couldn't tell you how many or how much this particular crock pot holds. I just know that this is the biggest one that I have. If you do not have crock pot liners, you are missing out. I hate cleaning my crock pot. It is just something I try to avoid. So I like to use these bags. My crock pots also have a slight crack in them at the moment because of handling or put something too cold in it. So I do use these as well, just so I don't have any major leaks, just as kind of a help. So I did have a few scraps. I am adding a couple extra cloves of garlic just because I didn't have as many scraps as I usually do, just to add a little bit more flavor. So I threw all the bones in here along with garlic cloves. I had a little bit of extra onion laying in my fridge that I wasn't going to use. And then I do think I threw in some freezer onions as well. I had a few onions going bad, so I just went ahead and cut them up and threw them in my freezer to save for later. Okay, so I have my stock going. Next thing I'm going to do, because this turkey was already frozen, I'd probably be okay refreezing the ground meat, but instead I am just going to cook the meat ahead of time so that way I can pull it out and use it for whatever I want to use it for later when I'm making my meals, so I don't have to cook one more thing. This clip right here is me whipping up some lunch for the family. This is my little, what we call our little hot box. It is just a little warmer from Hot Logic, I believe. We were given it as a gift, and it's a way to just heat up your leftovers. You can actually cook some things in these. I've seen quite a few videos on it, but my daughter, she loves ramen noodles. I don't always love cooking it, so this is what I do. Throw the seasoning packet in, throw my ramen in, cover it with water. It leaves just enough broth for you. It is so great. Any microwave safe dish is okay in this, so I add the lid just to keep it all in. And this particular day, we had leftovers from our local Arby's. So what I did is I actually just threw the sandwiches just right on top because I didn't want them necessarily right next to the heating element that's in there. My sons didn't have as much left, so I just put his in a little bit of foil. Now, I did end up going back and putting my larger sandwich towards the heating element and just kind of flipping it over just to heat all the way through because I didn't leave it on all that long. If you don't have one of these little Hot Logic things, you're missing out. They come in this little lunch size, and they actually have some 9x13s and car adapters, which I think is really awesome. All right, so I got a lot of this stuff done today. Right here, I've got my turkey with my ground turkey with my teriyaki sauce. Sorry, it's kind of dark. I have some water going here for these little dumplings. And then I've got this going to make some more Chinese noodles. Hey guys. So I just want to do a little recap on the total amount spent for this particular meal prep. Now, this is something that we do on a daily basis or on a regular basis is anytime we see meat below the normal price range that we're normally used to seeing it, you buy it. You can always use meat. You can always use the protein. You may not use it right away, but prepping ahead and thinking ahead will save you a lot of money in the long run. Most turkeys can get pretty expensive. This particular turkey, it ended up being about 50 cents per pound. So, sorry, long day. Mom life. 50 cents per pound. The turkey itself was 12.96 pounds. So the whole turkey in itself cost us $6.48. Cheap. This is the time to stock up. I will say turkey is not my most favorite meat in the world, but I can learn to live with it for $6.48. Just saying. So if you break that down, this is how I broke my particular bird down. I deboned it, and I used all the carcass and some of the skin, and I left the wings on, and I made a stock with that. That made roughly about 8 cups or so, probably a little bit more. Now you can adjust that depending on how big of pot you put it in. You could technically get a little bit more out of that, but I make mine very concentrated because I can either use it all in one meal, or I can go ahead and break it up and put it into little cubes for like meals or flavoring later. So I did the soup broth, and then I ground up some of the turkey, which was about 4 pounds of ground meat. And then I saved the 2 legs, which will be for another meal, which that can be a meal in itself because I can cook it and pull the bones or pull the meat off and put it in something else. So $6.48 for this bird, and 5 portions of meat. I'm just going to say for what I broke it down as. And that would equal $1.30 per meal for your protein. I would say that's pretty darn affordable. I couldn't believe the breakdown myself, considering how inexpensive it was. I hope you guys liked it. Don't mind my awful hacking skills on this poor bird. I did okay for the first time. I thought I was pretty proud of myself. And I am going to include some clips from our little Easter weekend, and I hope you guys all had a wonderful Easter with your families. I know we did. So stay tuned, and hopefully I can get some more videos up soon. Thanks. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks, guys.